In this podcast, we're going to look at how to do an export of a class list from the My JLC portal. Now, I've already logged in. You'll see I'm logged in here. I've clicked on the Faculty tab, and I've gone to the Faculty Course Center, and I have selected Class List. So I'm in my class list, and what I want to do now is export a copy of the class list so I can take it into Excel and then tweak it and get it to print out. Okay, so basically the first step is you would go here to the export to Excel link, and there's one at the top and one at the bottom of the class list. Now when you click on it, what's going to happen next is going to be different for everybody. It's going to be based on which browser you're using, which version of the browser you're using, and if you've ever changed the settings for what happens when it opens like Microsoft Documents. So if you've ever told it to just go ahead and download files, or if you're using some browsers that just automatically download, Chrome pretty commonly does that. When you click on the Export to Excel link, you will either be prompted to either save it and open it, or it'll just automatically download. And like I said, that's going to be different for everybody. In this case, when I click on it, it asks me whether I want to open it or save the file. If you click on it and it appears like nothing happened, look in the lower left-hand part of your browser and see if it's downloaded. Chrome will pretty commonly do that. It will then show up down here by the status bar. Also, this is Firefox, and if it automatically downloads, you should see the little download icon animated so it looks like it's downloading something. But if it looks like it's not doing anything, you click on the link, look in where your documents tend to download. Now, the default for most Windows computers is My Documents Downloads. On a Mac, it's going to be the Downloads folder. If you've ever changed that default, you'll have to go look to where you've pointed the download area to be. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Open and then click OK. And if you're using Windows, you're probably going to see this message appear. And basically it's telling me that the format of the file that I've downloaded and I'm trying to open in Excel is not what it says it is. It doesn't match what it says it is. And basically what's happening is this file is classlist.xls. This file is really a comma separated value file, or it would have an extension of CSV. Now that's really a text file which uses commas to separate what would appear to be columns in a spreadsheet. Now what they've done is they've added this XLS extension on here to force it to open in Excel or another spreadsheet program if you have that on your computer. Basically, since you've requested this file from our server, it's safe to go ahead and say yes here. If you receive a file like this by email or from some other third-party server, you may be a little leery about opening it. But if you're, in this case, we've downloaded it, we've requested it from our server, and we know what the file is, it's okay to say yes. So I'm going to click yes. And here's my export. Now this is a class with some dummy students in it. They're not real students. So I don't have email addresses for everybody. But you will notice there is an email column. And now I could just print this out, but I may find that the formatting doesn't fit what I would like. It may be on 2 pages. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to go through and tweak this so you can get it to print out on 1 page. And the one thing that you do need to do is if you right click, go over here to the number 1. Now this is Office 2013. The process for other versions of Excel is very similar. The only thing that's going to be different is towards the end when we do printing. Okay, the printing process in 2013, most of the things are consolidated on one page now. The one thing you do want to do is delete that first row, because that's all that information is all in one cell, and it can mess up a table. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you just right click and go down to delete and get rid of it. Now I don't need this column, and you can delete whatever columns you don't want. I mean, that's fine. You just right click on the header for the column, it'll highlight the column, and then you go down to delete and it'll delete the column. Now I'm going to go ahead and change the first row to the first column to attendance, because I'm going to use this to take attendance in class. When I print these out, I'll use them for attendance. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that column intact. Now the thing you want to do is go ahead and select all the columns and all the rows, and then go up to the Insert tab and click on Table. Now the range that it gives you is going to be correct because you've already selected the area, and you'll notice the moving line around that area. So that is correct. You also want to make sure there's a check in the checkbox here that the table has headers, because you do have a header row there. Okay, attendance, student ID, that would be the header row. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now it's inserted a table that's in blue font, or excuse me, a blue formatting with a blue header, and then screened blue rows every other row to help make it easier to read stuff across the table. Now you can select something like this one, which is table style medium 1, table style medium 8 is also black and white. 15 is also black and white. The difference with it is it gives you vertical and horizontal rows of lines. You'll notice on 8 there's no lines. So you can pick a formatting here on the different table styles. You can pick whatever color, or black and white if you've got a black and white printer. Okay, and then once you've created that table, you see you've got nice banded rows, so it's easy to follow that information across the table. You have a column here where you can enter in attendance if you're going to use this to take attendance in class. Okay, now to print it out, we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Print. And the one thing you want to do here is you want to make sure that this is set to print active sheets. So it's just going to print the one sheet that we have here. Okay. And then we want to go down and probably select landscape orientation. And now that has most of my rows showing up. I did have one additional row that's not showing here, but we'll deal with that in a minute. You notice on here it's still on 2 pages. Now we're going to use letter. I'm not going to try and use legal size paper. And we're going to do custom margins. And mainly the reason why we're going to do custom margins, there's 2 ways we can do that. One, we can go to page setup and click on margins, or we can click here and under custom margins, I'm going to change these to 0.5 for width and 0.5 for the top and for the bottom. You can leave the margins any way you want. There was one other thing I wanted to do on that page. Over here, you'll notice how this is all in the upper left-hand corner is the way this is positioned on the page. If I click on horizontal, that'll make the table centered horizontally. And if I click vertically, it'll center it vertically on the page. Now you'll probably want to do it horizontal for sure. Maybe you don't want to do vertical. I'm going to go ahead and just check horizontal. and click OK. Now the last item is scaling. Now, depending on how many columns you have, you may want to click on this to fit all of the columns on one page and all of the rows on one page. So if you had like 35 students and a number of columns that were too wide for one sheet, if you click on this, it'll force everything to print on one page. Now, if you have a lot of students, that could give you very small print. The best thing you can do is delete the columns you don't need at the very beginning, and then say fit all columns on one page, and then you'd have all your columns showing up. You may run into 2 pages in length if you have a lot of students. But you could always say on here to fit all on one page if you want everything to print that way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select the fit all columns on one page, and then I make sure it's just going to be 1 page wide, and it would only be 2 pages in length if I have a lot of students in the course. Once I'm done with that, I just click the print button and it will print that page out. Now I can save this file and come back to it and print it out later and keep using these for attendance sheets. Or I'd save this as a PDF file as well, and that would be under File. You go to Export and create a PDF. It's no longer Save As to create a PDF. You actually go down to Export in Office 2013 to create that PDF file. Okay, so whichever way, if you want to save a copy of it in this format or in a PDF format, either way is fine, but you'll be able to print out additional copies to use for attendance.